So now let's create our header component for our MERN stack application. In the last video, we created our routes and they all work really fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to close all of these things out. We could go here and we could say close all. And now what we're going to go is over here and we could just close here, and you can see in the client folder, what we want to do is you want to just open it up in a bigger screen. Just close this out. Go to the source folder. Over here you have pages. Just create another one which is called components, and inside the components you want to create a header component. So you could just create a file over here and call it Header.jsx. Okay, so I didn't type that properly. Just rename it to JSX, and over here you could just type in rafc and just put in, header over here something. And what we want to do now is we want to add it to all of our app pages. So we have to go to the app.jsx, and in here the browser router, within it you want to add the header. So you basically add the header component like this, and essentially you could say control space and enter. Now it's basically imported everywhere, and that was all it. Now you could see if we go back to our application, which is right here, 1 second. So yeah, so you could see over here we have header, and that's in the home page. If I go into any other pages, let's suppose sign in, you could see the header is going to be everywhere. So that's really great. Okay, that's perfect. Now what we want to do is the next step, and the next step is a little easy and simple. What we want to do now is we want to create our header. So we go back to our header component, and over here what we want to do is we want to make something so that it actually looks like a header, right? So what we're going to be using is a tool, and I'll show you what we're using. Flowbite. If you go to Flowbite, 1 minute, so just open this up. So you can see Flowbite Tailwind CSS component library, and you just type in React. So Flowbite React and UI component library. So what is this? Modern web applications with Flowbite React. Build modern web applications with Flowbite React. Has really good things. So you could just copy this, which is npm I Flowbite -react. What we're gonna go is here, and let's just turn that off and right click here. Okay, npm I Flowbite React. Just let this install. And what we want to do here is we want to go all the way to the docs. Okay, and over here we want to go, and you can see over here that we have to follow these things. Basically you have to go to quick start, and it tells you the setup instructions. So first of all, you want to basically set up Tailwind CSS, and we already have all of this set. So npm I auto prefixer post CSS Tailwind CSS npx Tailwind init -p. We did all this before. Now we want to do point Tailwind CSS to files you have class name in. So point Tailwind CSS to files you have class name equal to this in. So what you know is module.exports is equal to, remember we had this one, which was on the top. Essentially we want to do the same for the next part. So what you want to do is you want to go to content is equal to source, and all of this has to essentially point to the component. So go back here. In the meantime, it's still installing it. Okay, so put this right here, and you go to Tailwind CSS. So you basically go to config.tailwind.config.js. You can see over here we already have this .source, and then all of this, and then source JS. This means that the Tailwind CSS will be applied to all of these files within the source folder. That already is there, so that's perfect. And we already have this as well set up in @Tailwind base, @Tailwind components, and @Tailwind utilities. Remember that index.css file. So that is also there. You could see that this is there. The next step is we have to install npm I Flowbite. So we have to do that. Flowbite React. Add the Flowbite plugin to tailwind.config.js and include content from Flowbite-React. So what we want to do is everything else is the same, right? But the thing is, right after this one, you want this node modules, and then inside Flowbite React, and then lib, and then this. So you just want to add this thing in. Copy this, and you could just bring it right here, so like that. So essentially I did a comma. Right after that we got this one, and you can see it's all the way till this part right here, which is great. So save this. Okay, and now what you want to do is you could see over here we have plugins, and over here we have require Flowbite plugin. So we could just we could basically put this in. So just put this, comma. So you could just add a trailing comma, it really doesn't matter. So just put this open up and right like that. So Flowbite plugin, and try it out. Now you can basically use Flowbite in any of your components. So what we want to do is we want to turn it off. So okay, we got some kind of issue too, but let's see. I hope everything seems to work. So we're gonna have to reinstall that. So I did all of that, and let me do npmi Flowbite React again. Okay, okay. So it should do it. Okay. It's still, you know, downloading it. So, okay, it gives you that same proxy issue. So it says over here, okay, so Flowbite React was easily installed after I changed this to double quotes and double quotes here, because it was initially single quotes. And now if I go to package.json, and if I see over here in the dependencies, you see Flowbite React is installed perfectly, which is amazing. Now what we could do is we go back here and say CLS. Let's go back to our header component, where we had to basically change things. And now we could add in our, you know, special tags that Flowbite offers us. So let's go here, and let's go into this. And you could see over here, if you go to the docs, and you could see all these other things, like suppose integration guides, customized components. There's a lot of other things like buttons, avatar, badge, banner, button. So basically all these kind of things that are provided. If you want to add some kind of button like this, you know, it's kind of like Bootstrap and all these other things. So if you want to add purple to blue button, you basically have button gradient duotune purple to blue, and then that's it. Buttons added. So there's so many other things where you could add. And we're going to put this on the side, okay? It's going to put on this on the other side. We're going to put our MERN application, which is right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically, first of all, use some of these tags that Flowbite offers us. One of the tags that it offers us is Navbar. So if we go here and we say Navbar like this, okay? Okay, so Navbar like that, okay? This is a Flowbite tag. Now in here, now you can see right now, it's not running, so it should be running as well. npm run, wait a minute, npm run, and then dev. So this should run. Okay, great. So now what we're gonna do is inside this navbar tag, we want to add something. So we could say Cleverly's, okay, and then we could say Cleverly's blog, okay. So Cleverly's blog. So yeah, it should be running. I mean, there shouldn't be any problem. And let's go back here to homepage. Nothing seems to work. Inspect, console, and you have an issue. So the reference navbar is not defined. So the reason why navbar is not defined is because you basically have to import that from Flowbite. So you could just say control and space. You can see Flowbite React right here. That's what you want to do. And when you do that, you have it imported. So over here, you can see it's kind of like a spaced out component as compared to this all in the edge. Now you could understand that that's actually Flowbite's way of, you know, making that navbar. So this is going to be better, and you're going to see so many cool things right now. So right after this, we want to add a navbar, and we want to add a class name here. So we're using Tailwind inside here, and we can say border of the bottom should be 2. So you could see right now there's a border over here, which is really nice. Make it a little separated like that. Okay, so now in here, what you want to do is you want to add a link. Basically, these text, you see this Cleverly and blog. I want this spaced out, so this one has to be a different color, and this one has to be something different. So you could put a span tag on Cleverly, and it would work. But first of all, let's add in a link. So essentially, we put a link, link tag. So let me just. So this is basically part of React Router DOM. So you can see over here we have link from React Router DOM, and this is used to not refresh the page. Now you can see all it's spaced out to the side, so don't worry about that. Let me just cross this out and do that. Okay, so over here what we want to do is inside of this link tag, you essentially want to add things. Okay, so the first thing that you might want to add here is the to. So where does this link point to? It points to the home, and it will contain something special here. So it will basically contain a span tag that would have Cleverly's name in it. So span tag, and in here would have Cleverly blog. So Cleverly's will be in this span tag, okay? And outside of it would be just the blog. So right here would be the blog. So now it's a little spaced out. The only thing that's required is some styling. Let me just make this a little smaller so that's easier to see the code like this. Okay. So what we want to do is inside this navbar, we want a class name bottom 2. And in here we want link, which is 2. We also want a class name here. And we want to have that self center. It's not going to be showing center right now, but in other screen sizes, it's going to show in white space, no wrap. So that means it's not going to go down. The text is not going to go like Cleverly blog, and blog is going to go down when you want to make it small. The text should be SM, which is small. Okay, it just went a little small. For devices that are bigger than the small screen, we want the text to be XL. So this means if I make the screen size a little bigger, wait a minute. So if I make the screen size a little bigger over here, you'll see the text growing. So that, you know, you just saw it. Okay, great. So we want all of that, and we also want font hyphen semi bold, like that. This is just a little darker, and we want for the dark screen, you know, we're gonna have a white and dark theme. So we want the text to be white. So this is gonna be white in that particular case. Great, and so far so good. Now in here, in the span tag, we want to basically change this Cleverly's a little bit different. So we could add another class name, styling, and in here what we want to do is padding of X would be 2. So you can see now there's a little padding of X is 2 on every side, from up, down, bottom, and you know, up, bottom, left, and right. We have a padding of Y of 1. So this is also a little different. So basically, I mean, I'm not saying bottom down. Padding of X would only be left and right, and padding of Y would be up and down. Okay. And then we have BG gradient. So background would be a gradient color to right. So you'll understand which flow are we talking about right here. We'll say from hyphen indigo 500. Okay. So you can see right now there's 500 indigo. Then we have via. There's going to be 3 different colors. Via purple 500. Okay. And then we have so from via, and then we have 2 underscore pink 500. You see that? That looks really nice. And then we have over here rounded LG. So this is going to make it rounded. That looks good, nice. And then in here we have text hyphen white. So any case, whether it's dark screen or white screen, we want the white text to be white. That's nice. And you know, blog would be just the same like that, and the link would close from there. And essentially this is our logo. We basically designed the logo here. It looks really nice. It looks really good. Okay, so now we have the logo done, and we click on this logo, it takes us back to the home page. So that's also really nicely done. We want to do next after this logo is add our search field. So to add that search field, you could just go after this link, and within the navbar, which is the Flowbite one, go in text, and then we have text input. This is also from Flowbite, not the text area, but over here we have Flowbite. So over here you can see this is really nice looking input field, and in here we want we basically want to put some rules here. So the first thing are the properties. First thing we want to do is the type would be text. Okay, we want the type to be text. We want the placeholder to have search, and then dot dot. Okay, you can see over here, and then we have right icon. Okay, so over here there's going to be an icon on the right. Okay, so we basically want to import an icon which is from React icons. So AI, outline, and then we have search. This is the icon that we want. So basically we want to import it. Control space. There's no suggestions since it's not imported here, so it's not gonna run. So you're gonna have to turn off the client, and you have to type in npm I react -icons. If I do this, this would open. This would install the icons for us. Now we could rerun the npm run dev. Okay, now we'll go back here. We could just import this. Okay, so no, there's still no suggestions. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we could go up here and import AI from React icon /AI. So now you can see this icon is existing, which is really nice. Great. So now we have one other thing that we have to mention here is the class name. So make this a little smaller, like that. Okay. So over here we have class name. And we can put our Tailwind in here. So we want it hidden on smaller devices. So this is hidden on smaller devices. But when it gets bigger on larger devices, you want it to be inline. So you could see it visible. This is the small screen. But when I maximize the screen, you'll see the search icon. I mean, you basically will see the input field. Okay. And then what we want to do is we want to put this done. Okay. So this is our text input, right? One other thing that is very important here is we could have just have the self-closing like this. Okay, what I did over here was wrong. Okay, so basically this is there. You could just self-close it like that, and you don't need this one. And what you want to do is you could just put it in a form field so that you could capture this, right, later on. This would be handy. So just bring all of this stuff, which is right here, and alt and up, and there you go. Okay, great. So we have that. Let me just maximize the screen, and you'll see that the input field is there. When I make it smaller, it's gonna disappear. So you can see over here. 1 minute. So right now it exists, right? But when I make the screen smaller, you see it just disappears right here. That's what we put over here, hidden. Okay, great. So now that we have done all of that, which is great, we want to move on to the next part, which is also another button. And this is for smaller screen sizes. So this is a button, and this is also from Flowbite, not normal HTML button, but a Flowbite React button. And this one is also AI outline search, essentially. Now, now it's basically saying what is AI outline search. You want to close it like this. Okay, so you can see the search bot is right there. This is really nice. We put it inside this button tag, and that's why it has this really nice styling. This is for smaller devices, but you want to add a class name here. Okay, so the class name here would be really simple. What you want to do is you want to have the width of 12. Okay, that looks nice. And the height of 10. Okay, it just got a little bigger. And you want the, for large screens, you want it hidden. So it wouldn't be shown there. This is just for the smaller screens. And the color of this would be, so basically, this is all of our Tailwind. And in here we have color. We could just change that color to any color we want. So let's suppose we want to put gray. It changes it to gray. And we could also put pill. This is just going to make it more rounded. So you can see over it's just rounded. Great. So now that we have done that button, so that looks good. We move on to the next part, where we have two different things. We're gonna have a button, and we're also gonna have some other thing which is gonna be after this. So we put it in a div. We want two things inside, so it's normally better when you have two things, just try to put it in a div. Okay, so you have a div, and in here you have a button. So right here you have a button. So in the button you have, okay, class name. So we have width of 12. Again, we could use the same bit of styling that we've done. So we could basically say width of 12. And there's going to be a thing for this is it's going to be FA moon. This is going to be the dark or light screen thing. So, okay, it doesn't exist. Okay, it's not going to exist like that. It's also from FA moon. I'm not sure. It's not going to exist like that. Let's go back here. So it's basically import from FA, and now you can see that moon. So you can see this, and then you see that moon. Okay. Nice. Okay, so now we go back to our button. Okay. So we basically want to add now the classes. So class name, we put a width of 12. See that? Height of 10. It's gonna make it a little bigger. So height of 10. Okay, that looks nice. Hidden, so it's not gonna be shown in smaller screens, and for larger screens of more than SM, we'll have inline. So basically, it's now being shown here. The color for this would be also gray. Okay, you could also have pill, which is just gonna round it, and we also have on click. So basically on click would be added later on when it has some kind of functionality, but right now, and we could just toggle the theme, and it's just going to turn on and off. So dark mode, light mode. Right now it's just dummy, so we basically changed that, and the button is there. Perfect. So now with we have the button there. We want one more thing, which is the link. This link would be basically taking us to the sign in. So we have a link again, and in here what we could do is we have 2, and then we have 2, and we have basically sign in -in like that, and we have button like that. So BUTTON, and in here we have gradient, tone, duotone, so like this. So over here you can see this thing. You see this? This is the button we're going to be looking at. First of all, let's just put in our button. So it's going to be called sign in. Okay, you see the sign in button? It has to be in with it with this dark light mode thing. I'm going to put all of it together, but right now what we want to do is we want to make this button. This is all Flowbite. So purple, gradient duotone will be purple to blue. Remember the demonstrations that I've shown you before? This is how nice it looks like. And then we have outline here, and this is just gonna have the outline effect on the button. So now you can see this is how it looks like. We want to put them together, so we could use flex for that. So this is all good, and in here, which is the div, which has everything in here, essentially the div is gonna contain all that class that generally contains this thing. So we basically put a class name here, and we could put flex here. So now it's together. A little gap too, so that's a little spaced out. Now it looks much better. And for medium devices and onwards, what we want to do is order by 2. So we could, this means that we want it at the edge, very edge. So you can see very edge, and when you essentially go a little smaller, you could see that there is a space, right? There is some kind of space, and that thing is hidden, but this thing is basically getting super responsive, and that's why it's so amazing. It's Flowbite. So we have done that. So we have done this, and we're basically going to the next part. So the next part here is the hamburger icon. So for that, it's pretty simple. All you want to do is you want to add a navbar dot collapse. See all collapse like that, and in here you want to put the links. So we have navbar dot nav or navbar dot link. Now they might be asking where is this coming from. Well, this is also coming from Flowbite. Navbar dot link. Wait a minute. So let me just fix this up. I don't know what happened here. Okay. Did you import this properly? Basically, when we added navbar, that is containing everything. So it generally has this navbar collapse, and right after this, you could just add navbar dot link. Okay, and you essentially could close it. Same thing, you could add two more. So navbar link, and then close it. Okay, and then the last one, navbar link, and then close it like that. So this is three different navbar links. You'll see them appearing right now. Just 1 second. Okay, so navbar link contains a link, right? So it would contain a link like this link, and then would have two, and then would have, suppose like this, and we'll say home. So first one will contain home. So we just close it and then say home. So you can see over here it has home. Same thing goes for the next one. We could just copy this and paste it right here, and then paste this one right here. Okay, so this is about slash about, and then we have ABOUT, and then projects, and then we have projects, PROJECTS. Okay, so basically we have all of this, which is great. Now this is one concern over here. You'll understand in the console log there's an error that says validate DOM nesting A cannot appear as descendant of A. What it means is that you're saying that you're at A link with ref. You have two different anchors. One, you have one over here, navbar, and then you one over here inside. You can't have a nested like that. So a small fix would be, first of all, just make it active. So you basically want, when you want to click on it, it would go to that specific page. Like about would go to the about, right? So it is changing, but to make sure it's basically being tracked as well, you could use active is equal to path slash, and we're going to put a variable for that. So let me go up here. So if I go to this React Router DOM, which is right here, we have link, and we also want to use location. Okay, and over here we could just assign it. So within this we could just say const location. Okay, so basically we want path only. So use path, const path is equal to use location dot path name, semicolon right here, and right after that you could basically add this path to that navbar section, which is on this part, which is right here. So go here. Okay, and you could have active is equal to and we have path, and then we have like that. Okay, and the same thing as over here, we're gonna have change this to a div, so that you know that error is gone. So you could just say as div. This is just the same thing would go over here. So active copy, and you could just paste it right here and here. Fix it up. So over here we'll have path to /about, and you would just that is the same because we're changing this navbar.link and changing it to a div, so that that error is going to be gone. You'll see. I'm going to show you right now. And then /projects. Okay, /projects, and then if we look at Navbar, if we view, so basically if we inspect again, okay, and then we look at the console, okay, it still has this issue. And now if I refresh, that issue is gone. So I hope it's running. Yeah. So I basically refreshed the page, and if I now look at the error prompts, no error messages at all, which is fantastic. And we have the Navbar fully featured. Looks really nice. Right now we don't have the hamburger, to be honest, but we have this Navbar section properly aligned, and it works really great. Okay, so this is all looking good, and we basically have this one other tag that I wanted to show you, and that is essentially a drop down for all this for all these components. So in here what you have is the div, right? So right after the link you basically could add this navbar toggle. Basically the navbar toggle is on the top. So navbar toggle, let me just see if that works. So navbar, and then we have dot toggle, and you can see over here, oops. So over here you will see in this div, the navbar toggle works when the screen size is a little smaller. So you can see over here, this, this navbar toggle works, home, about, and projects. They come, and you have that toggle screen, which is fine. I mean, it looks good. It's responsive. And that's the last thing that we wanted to do. Okay, so that's great. I mean, we created our entire navbar, and it looks fantastic. So what we could do is we could just add this all into GitHub. So we could go here, CMD, and go here, and we could just say git add git commit -m navbar. We'll just say responsive navbar using Flowbite. Okay, and then we have git push -u origin main. Awesome.